Good morning, Sac City. Welcome into another edition of the Sac City Podcast. I am your host, the one and only Vinny Milani, joined as always by my best friend in the whole entire world. He is Aaron, the Mukesiah Mukes. And below us, we have your boy, old fuzzy screen himself, bad connection, AJ Johnson. It's a beautiful.
Oh, good. He said, "Old fuzzy screen."
He does. He has old fuzzy screen. He's got the fuzzy screen right now. We've got Aaron with the connection. We've got AJ with the bad looks, and then it's just me with the
bad looks. Zoom. Look here. This ain't what I came back for. Don't come at me like that.
Hey, this is what happens. I gotta welcome you back. But it is a beautiful October 6th morning here in the city. Episode 95 is about to kick off. We have an AFC game preview on the horizon. We've got a Thursday night football DFS. We've got, of course, morning headlines and an injury report to get into as well. How goes it, gentlemen? AJ, I'll send it to you and ask you because I attacked you to start the show.
Oh. Yeah, well, I forgive you. Thanks for, rectifying that by asking me how I'm doing on this lovely. That's too did he say rectify? No, I did not say rectify, but we all know that you would get up for that, so I'm okay with that.
Getting up. Oh my goodness, this is taking a turn. Getting up for what?
You don't even remember laughing at that on the show yesterday, apparently. But
I could barely even get up for this show, let alone get up for a word.
I barely remember what I said yesterday. I barely remember what I said 5 minutes ago, let alone what I said last night or yesterday.
That's fair.
Whatever time we do that.
Well, I remember what you guys said yesterday, or what we said yesterday. I remember what AJ said.
Remember what day it is.
This show is off to a fantastic start.
Apparently, we all don't know shit.
All right, well, let's get into something that we do know. Let's get into our morning headlines.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Breaking news, alert the press. Buccaneers legend. He might go down in the Ring of Honor for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Cole Beasley has announced his retirement from the NFL again. He is now no longer with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He said, hey, I like my family too much, and Tampa sucks. I'm not doing this anymore. And Cole Beasley has officially announced his retirement from the league. Aaron, you had a story that you wanted to tell about this that you needed to.
No, I want you to stop being disrespectful.
Oh, okay.
I want you to stop to share the morning headlines with these people. And the morning headline is Cole Beasley retired, and it wasn't in a funny way. It was a ha ha he ha. It's only Cole Beasley.
Do you know what show we're on? Do you know what show this is?
So now all of a sudden now we're back to being jokesters now? Is that what this is?
I mean,
okay. You gotta let me know in advance how we're gonna do this because I can't keep up with what we're doing each day. No, I didn't have. It wasn't a crazy story, but I did think it was worth mentioning. This is the second time Cole Beasley, out of nowhere, has announced his retirement. If you remember Cole Beasley when he was a rookie, he was with the Dallas Cowboys, and matter of fact, I was at the training camp when it happened. He just walked out and he was going to quit football, and he said he had a lot of things going on, and he decided to quit football, and they had to talk him out of retiring. They had to have a meeting with him. They talked him out of retiring. He ended up coming back and was with the Dallas Cowboys, but this is not the first time he's done that, and I found that to be very interesting, that we don't get details. He's been in the league a while, since 2012, but I do find it interesting when players like this who have had such a long career, and yes, 11 years in the NFL is a long career. I find it strange when they do things like this instead of like, why did you come back 2 weeks ago? This isn't Tom Brady where he's contemplated the whole time, do I want to retire? This is a guy that 2 weeks ago was like, okay, I'll join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then now 2 weeks later, it's like, maybe I won't. And I don't think it has anything to do with the team being bad. Obviously, we know they're not. But maybe it does have something to do with his playing time or the fit or whatever. But I would like to know more. And I thought that was pretty interesting, despite you making fun of it just being, quote, Cole Beasley. But Cole Beasley has had many good years in this league. So I thought it was interesting.
No, sir. I did not just say it was just Cole Beasley. That was not the route I went down.
Let's pull the curtain back then. You weren't even going to mention this as a morning headline.
Wow, the disrespect to pull the curtain back on that. What are we this show now? Are we doing this now? Are we this show now?
Yeah, we are, because you always want to pull the curtain back. And you were like, I was like, you were doing morning highlights. Well.
I just find it funny that he asked us if we didn't remember the first time. If we remember the first time Cole Beasley retired, like it was like recent, and then he talks about his rookie year 11 seasons ago. Like, why would I remember him as a rookie retiring?
Because your job is to remember him. You are
to remember him, a rookie, when he was trying his best. I mean, he wouldn't even been big. He didn't have a helmet catch on the way outside of the sidelines like 6-7 years ago.
This is why people in the chat, people on YouTube. This is what I'm here for. This is why I'm here. I'm here to keep these two honest.
Thank God.
I am the reason why I keep you two honest. I don't let you get away with I didn't remember. Your job is to remember. So if you don't remember, I'm going to remind you.
My job is to
let me give the respect that Cole Beasley truly deserves. He is hanging it up after 11 years in the NFL. So hanging it up after 11 years in the NFL. He's got an All-Pro, a second-team All-Pro back in 2020. He was named the 96th best player in the 2021 NFL Top 100. He finished his career with 554 receptions. He finished his career with over 5,700 yards and 34 touchdowns in a great career for the Beasles.
He's a rapper.
That's what I'm gonna be bummed out. I can't say the Beasles anymore. That's what I'm not gonna be able to.
I just know that if this was a Jaguar or if it was a Falcon, it would have been mentioned. That's all I'm saying. I can confirm that.
I can't believe we're set. Well, that is true. I did. Well, no, I kind of rolled into the Blake Bortles thing and joked around about Blake Bortles yesterday. I said he was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but you put it in the morning headlines. That's my point.
Yeah,
that's my point. This wasn't in there. I had to tell you to put this in there.
That's fair. I do like Blake Bortles more than I like Cole Beasley. But now we are 7 minutes in, and I did have a quick question of the day, but I'm going to save that for tomorrow's show. You're going to have to tune in because it is now time for injury report.
Well, you know who can't get up? Yep, that's right. It's Mac Jones. Mac Jones can't get up. His ankle is hurting, but he was limited in practice with that ankle injury. So Mac Jones, I don't think he's going to play again. I think this is just what Belichick does, plays it close to the vest, puts out limited practice reports so people can't game plan for Bailey Zappi or whoever. So that ankle injury is still limiting Mac Jones. I do anticipate him to be out another week or so. Maybe longer. Jonathan Taylor, tonight's Thursday night game. Big announcement came yesterday after we went off the air. Jonathan Taylor, inactive. We had mentioned, should he play, should he not play? I said it would be irresponsible if they're going to treat an ankle injury differently than any other injury if they're saying that it could further hurt or, he could further the injury or if he's not really ready to be on the field. And they made him inactive, which, again, was kind of expected. Myles Garrett did return to practice after that single car crash. And Minkah Fitzpatrick did not practice with a knee injury, but he does have a chance to play. Minkah Fitzpatrick is a great safety. It's just unfortunate that he plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're not very good right now. But a limited injury report. It was Wednesday. There were a ton of did not practices, a ton of limited practices, but we talk about this every week. Wednesday is kind of the day where people are getting rest. They're kind of veteran rest days. Guys with little nagging injuries sit out, and we will see what happens as far as today's practices and moving into Friday.
I believe there was. I don't know if this was newsworthy. I wasn't able to find the headline before the show when I was making this list. But did you guys see what was going on with Tom Brady?
Yeah, he's got as far as injuries.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a shoulder injury. Yeah. So he's banged up. But I don't know if you remember last week in the Sunday night game, you've seen it after he took that hit. They said he was having trouble throwing the football and stuff like that. So that could be something to watch as well. But, it is Tom Brady. So,
yeah.
I thought you meant injuries to his heart.
Oh.
Let's stop. That's what I thought you were talking about. I'm not going any further than that.
No. I was talking. I was more referring to the Wednesday, the because last week there was a report that came out that he was not going to practice Wednesdays, like his days off were Wednesdays, and then he showed up to practice on last Wednesday, but now this week he didn't, and there's just a lot happening, and Tom Brady can do whatever he wants, okay? Until for the rest of his career, Tom Brady can just do whatever he wants, and we're just going to let it slide. That's just that's
acceptable.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's Tom Brady. That's just how it is. But that does though for our morning headlines and our injury report. AJ, tell the people where they can follow us at before we get into our AFC game previews.
All right. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, you know the deal. It is Good Morning Sac City, which you can find at Sac City Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. You know the deal. When you head over there, hit those likes, hit those shares, hit those follows. Make sure you are rocking with us every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, for your fantasies on Sunday, we got the Picks, Kids, and Pancakes. Come with the set 11. Set up your lineups. And the only place to find that is on YouTube at Sac City Pod. And of course, hit that like, hit that share, hit that follow, hit that subscribe, hit that notification on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Your boys are right here, back in town.
All day, every day. We got a lot of content. We got a lot of content heading your way. Be sure to follow us everywhere, like AJ said. Let's get into our AFC Week 5 game previews. Once again, the Thursday night football game tonight is between the Colts and the Denver Broncos. If you missed that game preview, it is out now on YouTube. You can check that out and get yourself ready for the Thursday night game. But we kick things off today with the Pittsburgh Steelers at 1-3, traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills at 3-1. The Bills are 14-point favorites in this game. This is actually the first time since 95 that the Steelers have been this big of an underdog in a game. Is this fair to a Mike Tomlin team, Aaron? Is this fair to a Mike Tomlin team to say, okay, they're 14-point dogs in this game?
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, the way they've played this season and the way Buffalo has looked and what the talent we believe Buffalo has, of course it's fair. Is it disrespectful? Yeah, it's disrespectful. Mike Tomlin probably deserves a little bit more credit than that, perhaps, but it's fair because they're bringing in a rookie quarterback on the road, and they haven't played well offensively. The offensive line hasn't been good. They haven't been able to run the ball. There's been some turnovers. They have to show that they get ball moving and actually score some points before we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. Yes, week 1 was a great win against Cincinnati, but now you look at week 1 as the outlier because since then they've lost to the Jets. They've lost to some teams that were like, maybe you shouldn't be losing to. And if you are losing to them, why are you losing the way you are? So yes, it's fair. I know we don't like to be disrespectful towards Mike Tomlin, and we all agree he's one of the best coaches in football, if not the best coach in football. But they are limited at this point. They do have to get things on the right track. And this once again proves without a quarterback in the NFL, and you don't have a guy that you can lean on and rely on, doesn't matter how good of a coach you are, it's going to be hard to win. It's going to be hard to win games.
Yeah, and this is we're entering a different era of Pittsburgh Steelers football. Maybe not a complete reset here, but if they lose this game, it would be the first 1-4 start since it would only be their 6th 1-4 start in like the entire Pittsburgh Steelers franchise history. So like that they don't start off bad. This is a naturally or just a historically successful team that just does not have bad starts. AJ, in this game, we will see Kenny Pickett be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers after last week, his game against the New York Jets, coming in relief for Mitch Trubisky. What do you expect to see in a full game's worth? For obviously the defense for the Bills is great. Like it's not, he's going to have a hard time, but what are you looking for and expecting to see from Mitch Trubisky?
I mean, finally to get to see him play within a game plan. What do they think? What do the Steelers think Kenny Pickett's strengths are? I remember when we were talking about the Steelers in preseason, we wondered when would be the right time for him to start. And we thought about week 10 and how it'd be too difficult. And now we're bringing him in week 5 with the Bills defense, who is elite at the best and ready to make him pay. So I'm expecting to see what they are looking to see his strengths are. You know, is he and George Pickens going to make the connection more often? Is he going to get his his completions to Pat Freiermuth, as you brought up, how he's going to probably be a guy who benefits from having Kenny Pickett under center. Is Deontay Johnson going to get the looks he deserves as a wide receiver 1? And how's that line going to protect him up against a guy like Gregory Rousseau, who's got 4 sacks on the season, against a Von Miller, who's got 18 pressures and 3 sacks on the season, and a Jordan Poyer and a Dane Jackson who've been playing very good in the back end after Micah Hyde's injury. So if this is me saying I believe in throwing someone into the fire, and if you're going to give a rookie his first go at it, you might as well get the hardest debut of a full game you can have. Because after that, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy sailing or anything like that. You're not just going to Kenny Cruz pick it all the way down, but you're going to feel a little bit more comfortable about some of the teams you're going to be facing when your very first full game as a starter expected to go in there and perform is against a team like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, this is not an easy task for him. Do you think that is Mitch Trubisky done? Do you think that we're done with Mitch Trubisky?
I don't think that you see them pull Kenny Pickett and bench him in lieu of starting for a game like they did in Chicago with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles. Can Kenny Pickett be having a bad game, and by the end of the third quarter, you're like, all right, we're not going to win. Go sit down and let's let Mitch come back in? Sure. But Mitch Trubisky is going to have to be one of those guys that kind of Aaron mentioned, start to know your role. Be okay being a backup in this league, because at this point, that's what it looks like. You may get a chance down the road like Marcus Mariota got to start for a team that's looking for a bridge QB before they get their rookie to start going. But other than that, in my opinion, like I said, Mitch is going to Mitch, and he's going to find himself on the bench, and he's going to have to be a solid backup who should be helping Kenny Pickett grow, because at this point, you are the clipboard holder respectfully. Like, that's still important. Like, you have to be there for your team one way or another.
That's why I didn't love it. That's why I didn't love this move at this stage, because you can't go back to Mitch. I'm with you. I'm a believer you throw rookies into the fire, but I believe you do that from week 1. If you're going to wait until week 4 and you're 1-4, at this point now, this is how I view the Pittsburgh Steelers. You've given up on the season. And I'm not saying they're not going to try hard, but I believe Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers are saying, we do not have the team nor the talent to win this season. Because if you feel like you have the talent to win this season, then Kenny Pickett would have been your starter from day 1. So you obviously didn't feel like he's ready. And I'm sorry, with the limited reps that a backup quarterback gets in practice, you couldn't have told me after 4 weeks of that now all of a sudden he's ready to be your starter. So you believed Mitch was the better quarterback, which means you were wrong. And which now you're willing to accept Kenny Pickett's mistakes, because you can't – I don't believe you can be in the third quarter with Kenny Pickett throwing 3 interceptions and say, you know what, Kenny Pickett, take a seat. Mitch, get back in there. You can't do that. Once you went to Kenny Pickett, he's your guy. Through thick, through thin, through mistakes, through anything, unless he's injured, Kenny Pickett's going to be the guy. And maybe he could provide a spark, but I don't believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers' mind that they felt like he was the best quarterback for the job at the time, which means he's probably still not the best job in week 4. It's why I said what I thought was best was put Kenny Pickett in when you're out of it. If you're not going to start in week 1, wait until you're 1-7, 1-8. Instead, now you bring him in against the number 1 pass defense, the number 1 run defense, the number 1 scoring defense. And now when he struggles, what's the first thing he has to deal with? That's the first sign of adversity he has to deal with, is from the fans being like, oh, maybe Kenny Pickett's not the guy. We make excuses for guys we want to make excuses for. Last week, all I heard after he came in and played was he looked good, which I'll be honest, he did. But then other people were like, well, he threw 3 picks. Which is it? But they were tipped balls. Is he going to get the excuses of being tipped interceptions, and how long does that last? Because if every week you're throwing 3 picks and they're all tipped, or all the receivers fall, or then at what point do you become, all right, this guy's just throwing a lot of picks? So I worry about that stuff. The schedule's tough coming up. But they've gone to him, and I do trust Mike Tomlin, but I don't think you can go back now. I do think Kenny Pickett has to be your starter for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, I'm on board with both of you guys' statements on Kenny Pickett and the Mitch Trubisky situation. I think that I don't know if Mike Tomlin is that type of coach that will put his team in that situation where, like, he goes back and forth and flip flops between quarterbers. But Mike Tomlin
did it with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges.
Yeah, but
that was an interesting year.
He's done it. He's done it.
That's true.
He wants to win.
You can consider Mike Tomlin as a coach who just wants to win. He doesn't care about anything else besides winning. So maybe we do see that in the future, but maybe not so this game, because the Buffalo Bills are what you just stated with their defense, very good. Their defense has only allowed 1 touchdown in the second half of games. That came in that Miami game. And it's not like they've played cakewalk teams. They've played Baltimore. They've played the Rams. This is a team that's very good, and it's going to be tough for Kenny Pickett in this game. AJ, starting off with you, who do you think wins this game? What's the score?
I got the Bills in this game. I think this is the first time they get to do what we expect them to do and beat a team down, not including week 1. Obviously, we talked about that, but I have the Steelers and the Bills in this game, 35-20.
Aaron?
I think Buffalo wins this game pretty easily. With no TJ Watt, it's huge for the Steelers defense. Their defense has struggled. I'll take the Bills in this one, 38-13.
I have the Bills as well. I will go 35-10. Buffalo Bills. Next game on our list is the Los Angeles Chargers at 2-2 taking on the Browns that are also 2-2. Both these teams are averaging 50 points per game and tied for 6th in the NFL with both 50 points per game. But it's a tale of 2 different offenses. You look at the stats here. What's wrong? What are you looking at me for? What's the problem?
I read this in the doc a few times and I was like, I don't know. That can't be right. There's no way. And what he means,
he said they're both averaging 50 points a game.
Total in the game is what he means. Like through the first 4 games,
my apologies.
The game is
200
points. And I was like, oh, that's what he means.
Thing.
I thought he'd say it differently.
The stats my thing. I'll come back on this one. The Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Cleveland Browns here, both 2-2. Chargers are 2.5-point favorites in the game of 47.5-point over under. Both these teams' offense have looked good in different ways, is what I should be saying. You look at the Chargers' offense averaging 307 yards per game on the pass, and then on the flip side, the Browns are not passing very well, and it's just 2 completely different offenses. One good at rushing, one bad at rushing, one good at passing, one bad at passing. With the Chargers defense, we have talked about that so much this season about whether or not they have to prove it. They have to prove that all this talent and that they're the real deal. They haven't looked that great. And one of their biggest weaknesses still is against the rush. Aaron, is this a disaster matchup for the Chargers defense?
It's not a good one. It's not a good one. Cleveland can run the football, and Nick Chubb is the best running back in football. I've said it over the last 3 weeks. I'm convinced of it. He is just the best running back in football, pure runner. And yeah, it's going to be tough for them. The Chargers allow the most yards per carry in the NFL. And we talk about a team that knows who they are. We talk about identity a lot. The Cleveland Browns know who they are, at least right now with Jacoby Brissett. And they've been this way for the past 4 to 5 years. They want to run the football. And they are going to give the ball to Nick Chubb, and they're going to give the ball to Kareem Hunt. And that's not going to change in this game. I think the Chargers in this game have a terrible matchup and actually are in jeopardy of losing it to a Jacoby Brissett-led team because of the style of play. Cleveland wants to get after the passer, which the Chargers want to pass a lot. Their offensive line is banged up, and they want to run the football, and they have the horses in the backfield to run the football. This is not a good matchup for the Chargers. They're on the road. This is one of those games where it's going to look odd because the Chargers are favored on the road, but it would not shock me if Cleveland comes out of this game with a victory.
Yeah, when I was like writing up the preview for this game, I was like, man, this is an even game. Like, I get it. The passing, when you look at Justin Herbert, Jacoby Brissett, it's like they're 2 different things, but like that rushing attack for the Browns almost makes up for it. It's a game-changing rushing attack, and the Chargers defense against the rush is not good. So it's like it makes up for it. It's almost an even matchup, but the Browns still have Jacoby Brissett as their quarterback, and I'm not disrespecting Jacoby Brissett. He's done his job. He's done what he's had to do, but this Browns offense has literally relied so much on the run that they've not needed Jacoby Brissett to do much. AJ, do you think in this game that they can win by just solely relying on the run?
Cleveland Browns? I don't. Well, I do actually, because and we've seen this before. I mean, you think about a couple years ago when the Green Bay Packers didn't have a good run defense and people would just run through them and you'd win games like that. But more so for the Browns, this is what they do. They've beaten teams by just running the ball. Jacoby Brissett can manage a game to his liking. I'm not saying they're going to run 100% of the time, but if they're running at 60-40, 65-35 and making the passes when necessary, Jacoby Brissett is a good enough quarterback to get the ball to Amari Cooper in a 3rd and 9 situation, to get the ball to Donovan Peoples-Jones on a switch up and throw the ball deep downfield and let him do what he does best. And then Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt just attack this rush defense. If the Chargers can bulk up and show that they know they're coming in to run the ball and find ways to apply the pressure to the run, it may become a little bit more difficult. But I also think this is going to be an offensive battle because on the other side of the ball, Justin Herbert is going to do what he does best, and he's going to be airing it out to these guys and scoring and keeping this defense on their heels as well. So it's going to be very tough, and I do believe that it's going to come down to who can convert on 3rd down a lot, and that will have to be the Browns. And if you are in those 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 7 situations, it may be harder to just do it with the run. But I do think they're capable of it because of how bad this rush defense is and how good the Cleveland Browns rushing offense is.
Yeah, I don't like this matchup for the Chargers at all. I have the Browns winning in this game.
Jacoby Brissett is top 10 in QBR this year. He knows what he is, and he's been really, really efficient. I think we look at Jacoby Brissett, we say game manager, but Jacoby Brissett is probably a little bit more than just a game manager. I think he does. We've talked about him in the past about his size, his ability to throw the football. It's a little bit better than that average quarterback that you just come in and you're a little bit worried about. He has arm strength, really good in short yardage. And AJ mentioned like being able to hit Amari Cooper for 3rd and 9, which what's so great about that is they're rarely in 3rd and long situations because their running game is so good. So it allows that offense to be flexible and do different things. The Cleveland Browns' strengths are the Chargers' weaknesses, and the Chargers' strengths are the Browns' strengths. And I think that Chargers love to throw the ball. Cleveland's they're in the top half of the league in defending against the pass. Plus they have a pass rush against a weak O-line. I think this is a prime spot for another upset because they're not favored for the Cleveland Browns. And I'm with you, Vinny. I think this is a matchup nightmare for the Chargers.
Yeah, I think the Browns win this game. I'm going to say Browns 24-21. I think it's a closer game, and I think the Browns end up getting it because they're going to control the ball more. They're going to take it out of Justin Herbert's hands, and they're going to end up winning in the end. They're at 24-21. AJ, what's your pick?
I actually was a little bit more surprised with that offensive line of the Chargers last week. 39 pass attempts, only allowed the 1 sack, and that was without Rashawn Slater. If Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett aren't in this game, they weren't able to really get after Atlanta, and that may play into the favor of Justin Herbert. This is a bad matchup, but I think the Chargers are going to get it right. I also have a close game, but I'm going to take the Chargers 27-24.
Myles Garrett will most likely be he returned to practice today, so he should be good to go.
Yeah, I think he plays, but who knows about Jadeveon Clowney? You got Myles Garrett. It's like having 2 Jadeveon Clowneys there. So I think it's a close game as well, but I do have the Browns in this one. I also think it's a low-scoring game. I think the final here is 23-20. Cleveland gets the late win.
All right, there you go. We're all on the Browns train here, even though the upset alert.
No,
you picked the Chargers? Sorry.
Okay. Do you actually pay attention?
No, I don't. I really don't. I actually don't. It's like when I talk to my wife, I normally just listen. I listen to keywords and phrases. I listen to keywords and phrases. That's what it is.
Those are counter.
Lions, Patriots. Next game on our list. The 1-3 Lions travel to New England to take on the Patriots at 1-3. This game here, obviously the Patriots are favored. The Lions, though, their offense has been incredible the past few weeks. They are one of the best offenses, the highest scoring offenses, most yards per game offense in the league. AJ, for the Patriots defense to come into this game, what do you think the key is to slow down this surprisingly high-powered Detroit Lions offense?
Controlling the line of scrimmage. That's something that they've been able to do. the Lions' offensive line has gotten loads better than they have last year, so it's not going to be an easy task, but it's about winning in the trenches. If they can control the line of scrimmage, if they can get into the backfield, they can apply pressure to Jared Goff, make him make mistakes, it's going to be a little easier for them to slow this offense down. Now, it's amazing how they were able to put up 45 points without their two top guys, but if you're going into this game with the same formula, with the 15, 12, 13 targets to TJ Hawkinson and hoping that comes out on top for close to 200 yards again, it's going to be a lot more difficult to recreate that type of performance. He's going to have to spread the ball around more. And we've seen some of these guys in that backfield in that secondary for the Patriots come up with big plays. Matthew Judon has been wreaking havoc on people with 4 sacks on the season. So this is one of the defenses that has the capability of slowing down this offense. But this offense has been a lot of fun to watch. And, I still expect them to put up some yards and put up some points. But the Patriots at this point, besides the top-notch top 5 defenses, is a team that I think has the capability to slow down this offense a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about what happened last week. Going into the game with Green Bay, they had Brian Hoyer start the game, Bailey Zappi come in, and it was a close game. They took him to overtime. It was 27-24. And we talked about why it was that, because you just don't push around the New England Patriots defense. You don't push around Bill Belichick. And this guy just crossing his arms like something's wrong here. That you don't. Bill Belichick makes it hard to play against. That's the thing. And there is no denying that.
I'm not denying that. And I'm not disagreeing with the statement that the Patriots are a tough out. I'm the one who said it. I get that. But you talk about you just don't push them around. Actually, you do. The Patriots have had one of the worst run defenses over the past 2 seasons. They don't stop the run well. It's actually the part of the team that actually you can get a little bit on the Patriots is the physicalness in the trenches and pushing that defensive line back in the run game. I think they're bottom half against the run this season. And you talk about a team with, I'm sorry, even with the injuries, the Detroit Lions have been an elite offensive line this year. They are one of the best running football teams in the NFL. And with obviously DeAndre Swift being out, you're going to have a Jamal Williams who ran for another 100 yards again. They are going to run the football. This is what Ben Johnson does. It's predicated on running the football. It gives Jared Goff play action. And when you have play action and an effective running game, it disallows guys like Matthew Judon to get to the quarterback because they have to worry about the running game. The Detroit offense, I don't want to say this sounds so stupid because it's the Detroit offense. I don't know that there's a defense out there that can, quote, stop them. I think there's a defense out there that can slow them down. They are one of the more creative offenses in the NFL. You know what's going to slow Detroit down? If Amon-Ra St. Brown can't play again, if DeAndre Swift is out again, then you start to DJ Shark, you start to lose talent. And when you start to lose talent, it's harder to move the football despite what they were able to do last week against Seattle. We know Seattle's defense is just atrocious at this point. So I do think that the Detroit Lions offense is going to have their way with the Patriots defense. It's the one thing you worry about is the Foxborough element, the being on the road in New England. Could this be a letdown game for that Detroit Lions offense? But I'm sold. The Ben Johnson-led Detroit Lions offense is one of the best in football. And I always use this line, by hook or by crook. They find a way to score points. Even if it's late in games and they're down by a lot, they find a way to keep applying pressure and put the ball in the end zone. I don't think this week is any different. The problem is I don't think that they could stop Vinny Milani at quarterback. So it doesn't matter who the Patriots have under center. They'll probably be able to score this week. And that's where I think you have to start wondering, can the Lions just outscore New England? And that's the question mark.
Shout out Ben Johnson. Best
offensive coordinator in football right now.
Ooh, wow. Okay. All right. It's hard to argue that. It's hard to argue, but you talked about it. You said I could win it. Me being quarterback of the New England Patriots, Bailey Zappi. Yeah, and I'm a turd. But there is a new quarterback in New England, and it is Bailey Zappi. Aaron, what do you expect to see from him? Give maybe the new viewers.
I mean, he gonna zap it in there. He's the zapster.
Zap it in there.
For 15, now he did fumble the ball, but 107 passer rating. This is the zapster. He's Mac Jones, but with a cooler name, and he's just better. So they should start him for the rest of the year. This is not a joke. Bailey Zappi, I do believe, actually has potential. Like, I do think he could be a franchise quarterback given the experience. And I don't mean he could go win Super Bowls, but I do think he's a guy that could come in and be one of the 32 best in the NFL. He has 0 weapons on that team. Devontae Parker is his best guy. He has a good running game, but I think he has that talent level. His arm talent is really, really good. His thing is he's played at a small school. He's lacked experience. He hasn't played against big opponents. He hasn't seen all these defenses. He is going to struggle at times. But what better game to get right than going to play the Detroit Lions, who gave Geno Smith, made him look like the next coming of Joe Montana. So I think it's a perfect matchup for Bailey Zappi. I think he should have a good day. And I do expect New England to pull this one out because of the Belichick factor. A late stop. But another high-scoring game in a Detroit Lions, because if you play the Lions, you're scoring at least 27 points. It's just a fact.
Yep. This may be a good matchup for Bailey Zappi to come in and be able just to let it rip. This is
quarterback if people are going to have a quarterback controversy between
no doubt.
Rush and Prescott, I don't want to hear shit. I want to hear all the same energy when Bailey Zappi does it.
You know that's what's going to come, though. You know that's what's going to happen. We're not going to get a quarterback controversy in New England. We're going to be on this show next week talking about it, how no one is talking about how a quarterback controversy exists because it's Mac Jones and not Dak Prescott. What was your final score, Aaron?
I will say New England wins this one 31-28.
AJ?
I had Detroit 31-27.
I was going to say 31-27. I can't give Detroit 4 touchdowns. Belichick's red zone defense will stop them from getting all the way in the end zone. So I'll say 31-26, just because that means there's three field goals in there.
I will say 28-27 Patriots. 28-27 Patriots. The next game on our list, it's the Miami Dolphins traveling to MetLife Stadium, take on the New York Jets, the 3-1 Miami Dolphins, and the 2-2 New York Jets. The over-under is 3.5 points the over-under is 46. The Dolphins are favored by 3.5 points here in this game. No Tua for the Miami Dolphins, though. Tua is obviously out with a concussion. The investigation is still going on. Teddy Bridgewater steps in. Aaron, what do you expect to see from Teddy Bridgewater in this game? Let me rephrase this question. Not what to expect to see from Teddy Bridgewater. We know what Teddy Bridgewater is. What do you think we see from the weapons around Teddy Bridgewater in this game?
I like your first question better. We know what we're going to see from Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They're good.
But do we? Last week when Teddy Bridgewater came in, Jalen Waddle was not a factor. Jalen Waddle just had 1 target last week when Teddy Bridgewater came in.
But what did Tyreek do? Like, they both can't catch the ball at the same time. Like, it just happened to be a Tyreek Hill game. And before that, we've had Jalen Waddle games. Like, they're going to be fine. Like, he's going to throw a 2-yard route and they're going to turn it into 15. You're going to throw a 2-yard route, he's going to turn it into 40. The receiver, I have zero concerns about Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert. It's not about the weapons. This is about Teddy Bridgewater. And can Teddy Bridgewater just manage to get the football in their hands? This is a must-win game for the Miami Dolphins. And yes, I said it. They're 3-1, but it's a must-win game. They have to show that the team is good enough, the defense, the running game, the backup quarterback in managing this game, that the team is good enough to beat the Jets, because we all have looked at Tua in the past, and we all don't see Patrick Mahomes. We don't see Aaron Rodgers. We don't see Josh Allen. But we see a guy like, you know what, get him some weapons and everything, right? Like, he can play the position, and he could be successful. But we still don't see that elite arm talent of the guys that we want to put in the upper echelon. And which means that he probably doesn't have the ability to just go out and take over a game in most cases, albeit he did it against Baltimore. That's what we need to see from the rest of the Dolphins team, is that they can win or they can beat the teams they're supposed to beat without Tua. That way, when they play tougher teams with Tua, that added extra whatever he's giving them is going to allow them to be successful in those situations. You can't lose this game. You cannot lose this division game to the Jets, to an inferior opponent with a quarterback that's only in his second game this season. And you're supposed to be one of the best teams in football. You can't lose this game, in my opinion. If you do, I'm going to start questioning how good the Dolphins are as a whole. I like the pieces, but as a whole, how good are you actually? Or with some of those wins early in the season, I won't say fool's gold, but just not really what you are. And this would lend to my question of the day maybe tomorrow. So I might hint towards this tomorrow.
I don't know if I like that.
Well, I don't care if you like it. I remember I myself personally was the first person to say that the Dolphins were going to be good. And
I know, but that's what
I'm not
the problem.
comparing them
That's
anymore.
what I have a problem.
Go ahead.
But that's what I have a problem with, though, because if this Dolphins team does lose this game with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback, you're willing to just have second thoughts and wonder if it's fool's gold from what they did at the beginning of the season. Let's not forget how high we were on them, though, beating. But so really, what I'm trying to get at here is do you see the drop off between Tua and Teddy Bridgewater? I feel that's my difference, though.
There's not a huge difference. The difference between Tua and Teddy Bridgewater the gap is not this. Teddy Bridgewater has been successful in this league. He came in as a backup quarterback with the New Orleans Saints and went 6-0. And you would have been like, "Oh my God, that's Drew Brees." That's what I mean. But let me finish.
If you're saying this, though, I might. If you're saying this, and I'm considering all the factors here, and I'm taking what you're saying, I'm out on the Miami Dolphins being a Super Bowl contender or any type of contender in this league. They'll be a playoff team, but they're not. We talked in the first through the first 3 weeks of if they're arguably the best team in the AFC East, if they can contend for the number one spot in the AFC East with the Bills. If you're saying this with them, they're not even close. They're not even in the same stratosphere as the Buffalo Bills.
You're making my point. If they can't win with
or without Tua, though, what I'm saying, even with Tua,
that's the point. But you're making my point for me. The rest of the team has to step up. You can't have just a team of Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa. So if Teddy Bridgewater is coming in to fill in for Tua and you can't beat the Jets, then you are not a Super Bowl team, even with Tua Tagovailoa. That's my point. Because the drop-off between Tua Tagovailoa and Teddy Bridgewater is not going from Patrick Mahomes to Matt Moore. Or Patrick Mahomes to somebody like Taylor Heineke. That drop-off is significant. Teddy Bridgewater has proven to come in and win with a team that was talented around him with the New Orleans Saints. They were a Super Bowl caliber team with Drew Brees. We knew that. That Drew Brees goes out, we're like, okay, what kind of team are the Saints going to be without Drew Brees? They went 6-0 in the regular season. He did what a backup quarterback's supposed to do. They won the games they were supposed to win. If you lose those games, you start to question the people around Tua. That's what I'm saying. You start to wonder, can they be a Super Bowl team? Remember, as high as I was on the Dolphins, I didn't have them competing. I didn't even have them making the playoffs at 10-7 this year. So for us to put them as high as we did early, and then now for them to come in, and if they lose, if they can't beat a team like the Jets, with knowing Teddy Bridgewater starting all week long, I am going to be down on them for being Super Bowl contenders, for being people that we thought can contend with the Buffalo Bills. That makes those games more of anomalies or just one-off saying, hey, they had a good regular season stretch. But when it comes down to the playoffs, I would have more concern. I have concerns about their secondary, their pass rush. There's other things on the team that I want to see, not Teddy Bridgewater, because we know what we're going to get from two gloves.
Hey, we got a total of 4 gloves this week between Kenny Pickett and Teddy, 2 gloves. We got two, just not a good ratio of quarterbacks with 2 gloves in the league this week. But on the other side, we'll stay with the quarterback position and talk about Zach Wilson. Obviously, first game back last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Didn't look too bad, especially in the fourth quarter. He was able to rally the Jets back from being down 10 points against the Steelers. Now back-to-back games, or 2 games the Jets have for wins, featured 10-point comebacks in the fourth quarter, led by Zach Wilson last week. AJ, what do you want to see from Zach Wilson in this offense this week against the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, that graphic hits on it. I want to see a faster start. I mean, we talked about giving people excuses sometimes here and there, and you might give a little one to Zach Wilson. Hasn't played since week 1 or 2 in the preseason. First game back against the Steelers defense that was inspired because they're playing a Jets team and they're looking not to go 1-3. This week, I want to see a faster start. You got the Dolphins coming up who are going to bring a lot of pressure at you. We're going to get in the backfield a lot, and this makeshift line has been up and down for the Jets. But if he can start getting with his weapons, we've seen the connection he likes with Corey Davis. We've seen what he's done with Elijah Moore in the past. We need to see if that can come to fruition this week. We need to see if Garrett Wilson can get involved this week. Tyler Conklin, when Joe Flacco was in there, was one of the better tight ends in the league. You've got the weapons. We talked about the weapons that you have around there. Breece Hall is starting to trend upwards and is starting to run like the guy we saw in college coming into the NFL. So if you can get a faster start, you have a legitimate chance to take this Dolphins team to the brink, because your defense hasn't actually, I don't want to say hasn't let you down, but they haven't been as horrible as some people would think. Sauce Gardner's been tried here and there. He's shown up in some cases. Of course, he's had some rookie woes, but he's a talented DB. We've known that. DJ Reed has been playing quite well. If he can keep Teddy Bridgewater at bay in those intermediate passes we talked about on the fantasy drive, this offense for the Jets won't have to feel like they have to do it all at one time, because they should be able to keep around with the Dolphins if this defense can step up. So if he can start like he did in that fourth quarter, 6 passes in a row, start the first quarter 6 for 6, 7 for 8, something of that nature. Get down there and score a touchdown on your first drive. Give you guys some life to lean on for later in the game when you are facing some adversity, facing some trials and tribulations. And I think they'll be just fine. Even if they end up losing a close game, if we can see this offense look like they don't have to throw 60 times because they've been down all the time, that's something to kind of build on going forward. And the whole league is 2-2, so you're not really out of it.
Yeah, that's the wild part. This league is just so, the parity in this league is unreal, especially with the Jets at 2-2. Like, it's not, they could start 500 for the first time since 2018. Like, that's the thing this week with no Teddy Bridgewater or with no Tua. Maybe this offense, maybe they can do it. Maybe they pull off the upset. I don't think they do it, though. I got the Dolphins in this game. I got the Dolphins in this game go 28-17. Dolphins.
I'll take Miami in this one. 30-21.
And then I have the Dolphins in this game 28-23.
All right, there it is. Dolphins all around. The next game on our list is the Houston Texans at 0-3-1, traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars at 2-2. The Jaguars are 7-point favorites in this game with an over-under of 43.5 points. This really just felt good, like, to see that. It's been a while since I've seen the Jaguars favored by this many points, but also the Texans. That's what I think. I think this is a game where, like, you take the points if you're a bettor and you want to bet on the Texans, you take the points there, because I think that's too many points as well. The Texans have won 8 straight games against Jacksonville Jaguars. Not to say that that was in the past. This is a different Jags team. This is a different Texans team. Everything is different. But sometimes history tends to repeat itself, and the Texans have won 8 straight games. But something about this Texans team that I think is a little different is Davis Mills hasn't been playing the best football that he, like, last year we saw Davis Mills be efficient. He was fine. He wasn't turning the ball over much. He wasn't losing them these games, but it seems like now he might be the reason why they have been losing games this year. And we talk about all the time how hard the Texans play with Lovie Smith in the system. They're a tough team to play against, but Davis Mills now 2 straight games with multiple interceptions, the first in his career. Aaron, do you think Davis Mills is preventing this team from reaching the next level?
I don't know.
Thanks.
Well, no. Okay, so we have to remember when Davis Mills came in last year, they didn't put a whole lot on him. They didn't ask him to do a lot. Now they're asking him to do more. I don't know that he's playing any worse than he played last year. I think he was inefficient last year. I think he's throwing the ball a little bit more, which is the problem. And you start trying to make these quarterbacks that are young be the franchise guy and be the future. And yeah, they're going to make more mistakes. So I don't think it's fair to look at last year and say, oh, last year he didn't lose some games and this year he's the reason. Well, yeah, because this year you're trying to make him your franchise quarterback. You're trying to make him look and feel like the guy that's going to be the next coming. So yeah, you have to throw the ball more. Yeah, he's going to make more mistakes. Yeah, he doesn't know all the defenses. He hasn't seen them all. He didn't start the year last year as the starter. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could say the turnovers are a problem, but I expect that from a young quarterback. It would be like if Zach Wilson throws interceptions. I'm going to tell you, I expect it. He's a young quarterback that you have to let grow. I always say this, give the guy some time. Like, he's on a bad football team with a ton of young talent around him. He is going to make mistakes, but this is how you have to see if he's your guy. You have to throw him in the fire. He should progress each game, each year. And by year 3, with a young quarterback, if you're not seeing that progression, then you decide you move on if that's not the guy. And so I think it's a little too early. He's only got I don't know, 15 career starts maybe.
Yeah.
So I think you need to give him a little bit more time. It's just too early. But yeah, he throws the ball more. He's going to turn the ball over a little bit more. That's just the nature of the beast.
That's what I was kind of looking for out of that. I mean, he's been turning that we talked about like game manager quarterbacks, and not to put Davis Mills in that category just yet because, well, it's still a young career, but you just don't want to see them turning the ball over, and that ends up being why you lose these games and close games, like what the Houston Texans have been doing.
I don't want a game manager though.
No, I don't either.
I think teams.
Game managers. And I see the comment in here from Bailey saying that Lovie Smith isn't the guy for Davis Mills, but I don't think that's right. I think this is exactly what, to your point, you need to see Davis Mills, see if he can be the quarterback that can go out and make those plays. Because like we've said in the past, like you've really said in the past, you can't win in this game with a game manager quarterback. It's just not. It just doesn't happen. It's an anomaly if you do. But you have to have a quarterback that can go out there and take over a game when needed. And this year we haven't seen it from Davis Mills, but he's young. Another piece in that offense that I'm really liking a lot, Dameon Pierce, just a fantastic running back.
Bainbridge, stand up, baby.
Hey, I saw the story you did on him yesterday, man. He is that dude. 14 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown last week. 14 carries, 131 total yards, a touchdown. This is a guy that has been getting hotter and hotter the more you feed him. So keep feeding Dameon Pierce. On the Jags side, coming off of a loss against the Philadelphia Eagles with a lot of turnovers, what do you want to see this week, AJ, from the Jaguars to maybe bounce back against Texans?
I mean, honestly, you can keep doing what you're doing. Trevor Lawrence has played a lot better in his second year, but I do think this is a bigger game for James Robinson. Everyone was down last week, rainy conditions. James Robinson didn't have his best outing. I think that changes here. I think they do run him a little bit more against probably for good reason at this point, but for last week. But this week, I expect to see it a little different against a Houston team who's allowing over 170 yards a game. They're not a very good rushing defense. 5.1 yards per carry they're allowing, and their pass defense is middle of the pack with those defensive backs and those rookies that I was high on. Jalen Petrie has played quite well in the pass defense. Derek Stingley Jr. We were right. Well, I said he'd be good, but Aaron, I think, had him in the top 3 and deservedly so. And they both have shown up. So it's going to be a little bit harder to air the ball out. Not impossible, obviously, but I expect this to be a rushing type of game. Take some of the pressure off of Trevor Lawrence. Make it easy for him when he is throwing the ball because you're so balanced and the defense doesn't have a plan to stop you when you're ready to run because then you're ready to pass. And when they back up the pass and James Robinson's hurting you, running through the tackles or rushing around the edge. So this is one of those games, despite losing 8 straight, like you mentioned, this is a new team. This is a new regime with Doug Peterson at the helm. Trevor Lawrence looking better. And this offense and this defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars have shown major improvements already. If you would like, I can go ahead and tell you I think the Jags are going to get their first one in the last 10.
Yeah.
I guess I should give you my score too, huh?
Yep.
I have the Jags in this one. It was 27-14.
Okay. 27-14. Aaron?
Oh, big time.
That's covering the point. That's the spread. That's there. That's covering.
24-20 Jags.
24-20 Jags. I will have it 27-23 Jaguars in this game. Next game on
27-17, but
yeah, next game on our list. It's the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a game where two teams. This is Sunday Night Football. This is primetime action. This is what you want to see: Lamar versus Burrow, Eli Apple versus Rashad Bateman. I don't know if that's actually going to be the matchup. I just said it just because I wanted to say it.
Isn't Bateman hurt?
Huh?
Bateman's hurt.
Is he playing? I don't know if he's playing. I don't know.
He was in a walking boot after the game.
Oh, so he's not going to play?
No, they signed Andy Isabella.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's a great fit in Baltimore, man. He fits that system. No, but okay. So this game, Bengals, Ravens. Aaron, what do you make of this quarterback battle between Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson? Really more so on the Joe Burrow side. What do you want to see from this offense in this game? An offense that we've been little down on the start of the season.
Yeah, I want to see the franchise guy from Joe Burrow. I mean, that's what he's like. This isn't Davis Mills. This is a guy that was anointed after last year. He completed 70% of his passes last year. He's down to 64%, which is his lowest, even including his rookie year. And he's throwing more interceptions. He's already got 4 picks this year. He only had 5 as a rookie. He had 14 all of last season. So he has to be better. And I get it. We talk about the offensive line. I get we say he needs to be protected. It's not on him. But part of it is on him. The fact of the matter is he holds the ball. He needs to get rid of the ball a little quicker, and he needs to be more accurate with the football. So I'm looking for him to play better against a defense that has been susceptible to the pass this year. Despite the talent that they have on the back end, we've watched Josh Allen drive down the field late. We've watched Tua Tagovailoa throw 6 touchdowns against this team, bring them back down 21 points late. People have been able to throw the ball on Baltimore over the past 2 seasons, despite the talent that they have there. Joe Burrow has to play better than he's been playing thus far. They did not go to the Super Bowl with game manager Joe Burrow. They went to the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow playing, bringing those electric plays, hitting Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, those guys. So we know what we're going to get from those receivers. They find ways to get open, and they're going to be solid. Joe Mixon's a hell of a running back. It's been offensive line playing Joe Burrow, and their defense has actually been really good as well. And that can't be the narrative. It can be the offensive line can be the narrative. The narrative cannot be Joe Burrow, and right now he's part of that narrative. He has to play a lot better than he's been playing.
Yeah, the Bengals obviously had that slow start going 0-2. They've won obviously back-to-back games, and in those games, the sack differential from the first 2 to the next 2 is that stands out to me. I mean, you only allow 3 sacks in those 2 wins, but like 15 in the first 2 games. Like that's your recipe for success if you're the Cincinnati Bengals in protecting Joe Burrow. AJ, from this Ravens defense, we've seen them get beat by offenses that have been really good. They've let up a lot of points to the Bills offense, let up a lot of points to the Dolphins offense. In this game, they even let up a lot of points to the Jets offense, I believe. That was the thing too, right? No, okay. Just want trying to remember things correctly.
You're a little off here, but it's okay.
You're feeling your Testaverde again.
I mean, they didn't even give up a lot of points to the Bills offense, but
well, I mean, they didn't look that great against the Bills offense. But AJ, what do you expect to see from the defense of the Ravens this week?
I mean, it's going to predicate on their stars. I mean, Marlon Humphrey, is Marcus Peters going to step up? Are they going to be able to get pressure? And they haven't up to this point, only getting about 2 sacks of the game per game right now. And against a team like the Bengals, who you mentioned, their offensive line is trending upward over the last 2 games. This is one of those type of games that one side is going to come out feeling a lot better in the trenches. Is it going to be the Baltimore Ravens who haven't been able to get after the quarterback, or is it going to be the offensive line of the Bengals who are looking to stop letting Joe Burrow get pressured, get sacked, get hit? They have to find a way to get pressure. That's just the bottom line, because their back end their pass defense is the worst in the NFL right now, ranked at 32. So if you can't get this secondary some help by applying pressure to the one team that a lot of people think are easy to get sacks on, it's gonna be a very tough day for a Baltimore Ravens team that a lot of people expected, with all their injuries being gone and players coming back healthy and ready to play, would be a lot better at this point. Now, granted, they played some tough teams. I understand that, but you're supposed to be a tough out as well. So to me, that defense has to get some pressure this week. Otherwise, they may be looking at another loss in the L column.
Yeah, I want to see this defense step up. I want to see this defense look good against the Bengals offense. I think they need to get to the quarterback. I want to see that pass rush going. It's funny. Remember, I don't know if you remember this, Aaron, when we were talking on the show, we talked about the Bills and how they've lost consecutive 1-point games or 1-score games, that the Bills, that streak. Well, now they won last week with the streak now being broken. The next team up with that longest active 1-score losing streak is the Baltimore Ravens. They've now lost 7 straight games decided by 1 score. This game, I don't think is a 1-score game. I think this is, I think the Ravens win big in this game. I think this is a big win for the Ravens. I will go 31-24.
That's a 1-score game.
That is a 1-score game. They win a 1-score game. 31-24 Ravens.
You're unbelievable.
31-24 Ravens. Matt.
You're unbelievable. Oh, man. I'll take Baltimore in this game, 27-20.
I'm gonna take the Bengals. I'm gonna take the Bengals 28-25.
Now we finally have someone who can support the Bengals on this show.
Yeah, he's a Bengal lover.
Cincinnati, baby. Cincinnati all day, baby.
Well, we haven't, to be honest, we haven't seen many Bengals fans this season because, they went all into hiding after that.
Everybody only shows.
What did you say?
I don't think StreamYard wanted me to say it because I said everybody only shows up when their teams are winning. Otherwise, they're hiding like little pussies.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Also, shout out the Titans fans that have come out of the woodworks now after their wins. That's been a thing.
Exactly.
We'll talk about the Titans tomorrow, but let's get the last game out of the way here. It's Kansas City Chiefs hosting Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs are 7-point favorites in this game with an over-under of 51 points on Monday Night Football. If we get a 51-point game in Monday Night Football, that'd be fantastic because we have not seen many great primetime football games. But we get the Chiefs, we get the Raiders here. The Raiders coming off of their first win last week against the Denver Broncos. What do you want to see this game, Aaron, from the Raiders that you saw last week that they need to bring over?
I thought you were going to wait to ask me about the Raiders. It's that dog. Gotta feed him. You gotta feed him. Josh Jacobs is the key to this Raiders team. And don't get me wrong. Y'all know I love the Chiefs. Y'all know that I'm not picking the Raiders in this game because it is the Kansas City Chiefs and it is Patrick Mahomes. But if they want a shot, they need to feed Josh Jacobs. That offense, I think, was proven last week to run through Josh Jacobs is going to be your best chance at success. You can still get Devontae Adams involved. He had over 100 yards. But Josh Jacobs has to be the horse. He's talented. I don't know why you wouldn't give him the ball. He's on a contract year. You might as well run him into the ground. If you don't want to pay him, fine. Don't pay him. Don't keep him. But give the man a damn ball so you have a chance at winning. We've seen it. I thought the offensive line played a lot better against the Denver team that we've talked about their defense. But Josh Jacobs, the yards after contact, his ability to make plays starts there. The Raiders run the football. They'll have a chance to keep this one close. But that's about it. Keep it close.
Everything in that game last week matched, basically topped everything he did in the first 3 games for Josh Jacobs. That was a season high, career high game for Josh Jacobs. That is a big key to success for Las Vegas, in my opinion, and also a very big key to success for my fantasy team if Josh Jacobs can get things going. But for the Chiefs in this game, AJ, what do you want? This team is on a different level. I don't even know what kind of question to ask about the Chiefs because we're not watching for anything from the Chiefs. There's not it's Patrick. Is there something to watch for with the Chiefs in this game?
I mean, so once you can't talk about the offense because of how good they always are and how good they started this season, you go to the thing that we always talked about holds them back until the second half of the season, and that's their defense. And that hasn't been the case so far. They've actually been a pretty decent defense, despite their pass defense not being great. They're 13th in total defense, and they're in the top 3. Some people would say number 1 in rush defense. So I love the fact that he went with Josh Jacobs because I think you have a battle at this point, a guy that they're going to be feeding the ball to in Josh Jacobs over and over again against a Nick Bolton and Willie Gay-led defense who have been able to stop the run week in and week out so far. Now, there may be some context to that depending on who the rushing teams they played against, but so far they've been able to step up to the plate. So if this defense can do what they've been doing, it may be tough sledding for Josh Jacobs. It just depends on which one of those sides is going to levy a little bit more. And I'm not going to tell you which one if I think it's Josh Jacobs or the Kansas City Chiefs defense. But I think that's what you're looking for is to see if this defense can keep trending upward because so far their offense, you're right, there hasn't been much to really ask about.
Do you think in this game it's going to be which side do you lean on? Do you think in this game with the Raiders offense, you obviously brought up the point, you're right. The Chiefs defense has been great against the run. The number 1 team in least amount of rushing yards allowed. Do you think if the Raiders struggle rushing the ball that they just quit? They go back to what they did in the first 3 weeks? Not quit in the game, but we don't see Josh Jacobs get the ball.
I don't think so. I think the amount of volume that Josh Jacobs is going to get is going to allow his numbers to look great. It'll be more about the yards per carry. Is he going to have a great night because they gave him the ball 25 times, or is he going to break out a couple times and actually have a yards per carry up in the 4s and 5s?
So you think McDaniels is patient with it? You think that because in this game with the Chiefs, you might not have time to be patient with you. Like, you're going to have to score point. This Chiefs offense does not stop. Like, they score. But so, like, is he going to be patient enough to say, okay, we're going to, like, it's not working, but we have to keep up with the Chiefs. Like, how are we going to do this?
I mean, not if they're losing by 14 and 17 points. Obviously, at that point, you got to throw the ball. It's just, I mean, Derek Carr has been up and down, and it hasn't been what you thought it would be with Devontae Adams coming in. I don't know if Hunter Renfro's back, because to me, that does make a big difference. Hunter Renfro, what he can do in the middle of the field really gives defensive fits. But if you're down 17 points, no, you're going to throw the ball. Is Josh Jacobs going to be a part of that formula or not? If they have the luxury of running him and he's actually getting yards and pushing the pile and moving the sticks, and of course you're going to keep giving him the ball. It's just, it has to happen early. If it doesn't happen early enough, yeah, you're probably right. You're going to end up having to abandon that strategy.
I think this game comes down to Devontae Adams and giving the ball. I think that's what they're going to have to score points. They're going to have to keep up with the Chiefs. And last week we saw a good week from Devontae Adams. 9 receptions, 101 yards. Like, that's a good week for him. You have to get him involved. You have to find ways to get him in the end zone and keep up with what the Chiefs have going on. That's the plain and simple thing to me. That's it.
I don't think it matters what the Las Vegas Raiders do. Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this game. And by the way, AJ, Willie Gay suspended, so he's not a part of the defense. But yeah, I mean, can you
he still leads this team.
Like, can you really stop this guy? Look at this. Look at the ball placement. Look at Marquez Valdez-Scantling looking like he's got some Jerry Rice in him. Look at, first of all, I marvel at this. Like,
Rice.
Oh, wait. Oh, let me top it over. Oh, there you go.
Best
Nobody does that. These are not design plays. Nobody has the creativity of a Patrick Mahomes. He is the second coming of Jesus as he walks on water. This is Patrick Mahomes, and it's Patrick Mahomes, and it's Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid is just the icing on the cake. Kansas City wins this game 38-23.
I was wondering if, because the over under is 51 points. I was wondering if you gave all 51 points to the Chiefs. That's what I was wondering here, to be completely honest.
The last time Patrick Mahomes played the Raiders, I believe he threw 5 or 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'll go with the Chiefs here, 38-27.
And I'm a little nicer than both of you. Kansas City, 34-24.
Wait, what? How is that? What? Nicer? Who's
38, 37, giving them extra field goals.
This is unbelievable. I'm sure Raiders fans appreciate you being nice to them and not giving them an extra field goal in this game. I'm really sure that's a thing here. That's okay. Okay, now that does it for AFC game previews. Tomorrow we'll be back live 10 a.m. Eastern time previewing the NFC games. We do have a Thursday night football matchup between the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts. AJ, I need you to do some paying some bills while I get this DFS thing going. Tell the beautiful people where they can follow us at. Give your spiel, give your shtick while I get the DFS going.
All right, let's stick it up then. That's Sac City Pod, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we do it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and the TikTok. You know the deal. At Sac City Pod, you make sure you hit that like. You make sure you're hitting those follows. You're hitting those subscribes. You're hitting anything that looks like a notification signal. If it means you're going to hear that Sac City Pod has posted some content, you need to be up on that. You need to be aware of that. So hit that notification. Make sure you don't miss a second of at Sac City Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Once you follow, once you share, go ahead and copy that link. Put it in your DMs. Put it on your Facebook wall. Put it on your Twitter wall. Tell somebody. Tell everybody. I don't give a damn unless you don't do it. Then I give lots of damns. So hurry up. Follow your boys at Sac City Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Good morning, Sac City. We appreciate all the love.
I'm still getting this CFS going. So, Aaron, if you want to talk about, no, you're good. You're good. I just have to, I don't know why, like, I need to add you guys as my friend so I can like easily invite you to these things. But it's not a thing right now. So like that's where we're at.
So Aaron, would you like me to what? What do you want me to just rant?
Do something. Dance, monkey, dance.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
Talk to the people.
All right, the invite is sent. I don't need to do
and then
shit.
Right when I was getting ready to talk, I froze anyway.
Yeah, that's a thing.
You said the invite was sent?
Okay. Yeah, the invite was sent. Oh, StreamYard changed it up. Now it says present screen. It doesn't say share screen anymore. What a world. What a world we live in.
What a world.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a my nigga. Sorry. All right, so here's how it goes. Let's get into this. This is our DFS Thursday Night Football showdown between the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts. If you are new to the show, all those social medias that AJ was just talking about, make sure you're following them because that's the only way you can get the link to join our Thursday Night DFS plays. This is a captain mode showdown where we go head to head with 100 people and see who can win, picking only this game. Colts, Broncos. AJ, you're new to this on the live shows. You've done this with us. You've been a part of it, but this is the first time you've been with us to do the selections. What's your team looking like right now?
Now, we
don't have all day either, AJ. You gotta do it quick.
Yeah,
right. Wait, so I just need to tell you who I've chosen, right? Not like we're not picking or anything like that different.
Yeah,
we're not drafting
players you want.
So. With Jonathan Taylor out, I will take the captain of Nyheim Hines because it's low. It's only going to be 10-2. Hopefully he can do some good things for me. Mo Alley Cox with the 2 touchdowns last week. I'll put him in the flex, see if he can end up in the end zone. Melvin Gordon, Michael Pittman Jr., Cortland Sutton, and then I am going to take the I'll take the Philip Lindsay of it, $400.
He was just elevated from the practice squad.
Maybe he won't fumble. Not just because I wanted to be quick, but oh man, that's so gross.
Yeah. Sometimes
way too many Colts.
sometimes this game could be it could get ugly. Sometimes it could get really ugly.
Phil Lindsay is not going to be on my lineup. That's just stupid. It's gross. But y'all feel free to do what
Aaron, what you got going on?
Philip Lindsay is in my lineup. He's actually my captain. Where'd it go? Melvin Gordon's also in my lineup. Cortland Sutton, Russell Wilson, Michael Pittman. And I have $10,200 left, and I have a lot of things I can do here. But I am going to take – if I do that. I'm going to take the quarterback. I'm going to take Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, Michael Pittman, Philip Lindsay as my captain, Melvin Gordon, Cortland Sutton, Russell Wilson.
I am going with my captain is actually the Denver Broncos defense this week. I think that their defense is going to force some turnovers on Matt Ryan. They're my captain. I have Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Mo Alley Cox, Michael Pittman Jr., and Russell Wilson as my lineup. I think I'm going to lock and load this, and we'll get things going. That is my squad: Broncos, Sutton, Jeudy, Mo Alley Cox, Michael Pittman Jr., Russell Wilson. Have you guys finalized your decisions?
Yeah, mine's already in.
Yeah.
AJ?
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Did.
Does anyone have pick in their lineups?
No,
they're not.
There you go. All right, that does it, though, for another episode of the Saxony Podcast. We'll be back again live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, talking and previewing the NFC home games, as well as recapping, hopefully, a good Thursday night football game between the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts. For my best friend Aaron Mukes and for your boy AJ Johnson, I am me. We will see you tomorrow.
Peace out.
Holla.